The voice of the city.
98FM's Dublin Talks.
With Adrian Kennedy.
We're live every morning from 10 on 98FM.
Oscar, I want to be very careful not to identify anybody and not to name any names, okay? You there?
Yes.
Okay, you there. Now,
Yes.
your issue is what she spends the money on.
Not just she don't care about the child. That's the problem. Whatever for the last 3 years, the only thing doing for the child is myself. So I bring her to tennis classes, to ice skating classes, to buy her clothes, mostly buy her food. Every 3 minutes of my time I spend with her, and it's like there is no any other option. So, but the her free time, she's always drunk. Every time I bring her the child, she's drunk. She's missing the school, and it's. You see, I don't understand why I'm supposed to support that with my money.
Okay, so why don't you apply to the courts for custody of your child?
But I believe it's really difficult for father to get.
Not if what you're saying is true, that she's not caring for the child properly and she's drunk and blah blah blah. Apply to the courts on that basis.
Yeah, but I believe if I'm gonna take the child from her, her life gonna be destroyed at all. At least now she's few days a week she's alright sober and she's looking after the child, but most of the week it's not. So I don't think it's a good idea to do so.
But are you paying maintenance for your child?
No. I spend money on shores straight.
So hang on. Your child is with the mother how often? How long? 5 days a week? 7 days a week?
No, half of the week.
So 3.5 days a week?
Yes, something like that. Depends. If I'm busy, I have less days. If I'm not busy, I have more days with the child.
And you give your child's mother nothing?
No. Because as I said, the money, all the money she's getting, she's spending not onto the child. Because for the last 3 years...
Oscar, is your child starving to death?
No.
Is she getting
but
fed?
I have to buy the food. I have to buy the food for them.
You to buy the food for them?
Yeah.
And she spends nothing on the child?
No, not at all.
I have to tell you, Oscar, I wouldn't put up with that situation if it's as bad as you're making it out to be. I would be applying to the courts and defending your child and giving your child a better life.
My child have a good life, with me. But
that's only 3.5 days a week.
Yeah, but at the moment, it's what I can do now, only.
That's all you can do. So for the other 3.5 days a week, your child has to have this horrible life.
I'm trying to minimize that, but see, I have to work as well and to make money to make that 3.5 days the perfect for my daughter.
Yeah, like I said, we were talking about...
I am agree with you, yeah, but at the moment it stays like it is. In the future I will try to do something about it, but not at the moment.
Right, okay, stay there for a second. 6797 981 is our telephone number. Irene, you're on 98FM. Hi, Irene.
Hi, Adrian. Congratulations on your marriage and welcome back.
Thanks very much indeed. What did you want to say, Irene?
I'd like to say to that gentleman, Oscar, is he working or is he on social welfare?
You're working, Oscar, yeah?
Yeah, working 3 jobs.
Working in three jobs.
Right. Does his wife get social welfare?
No, she's working as well, but
Well, if she's working, he's minding the child every day.
When she's working, I'm with child. When I'm working, she's...
So you both don't work a full week. Is that what you're saying?
What's the point you're trying to make here, Irene?
The point I'm trying to make is, he's talking about the wife if she goes out for a drink. I'm asking him...
She's not she's drinking at home. She's not going out anyway.
Well, okay, so...
You can drink a liter of vodka every night, so...
Well, if you feel like that, you should go to court. I just think it's terrible the way you're just saying that about your wife. You know what I mean? If she's looking after the child every other time, what's your problem? You know what I mean? If you feel it's that bad, why aren't you in court trying to get the child?
There's no problem. Just the question is, why do I have to give the money for the alcohol?
You give money for your child, not for the alcohol.
No, I spend them on my child directly. Why not?
But so you should. It's your child. You know what I mean? I can't understand
for the last 3 years, both...
Well, it's your child. If your child was 21, do you know what I mean? You have to maintain your child. I think you're talking very unfairly, That's what I think, anyway.
All right, Irene, let me bring in some more calls on this. 6797 981 is our telephone number. Patrick, you're on 98FM. How are you, Patrick?
Hey, lads.
I mentioned your story a moment ago, and again, we have to be very careful not to identify anybody, no names and no scandal and whatever. Well, scandal, but no names. Your sister got pregnant for a guy who just legged it.
Basically, yeah. She was 18 at the time. He was, I think, about 23, 24. Going out for a couple of years. She fell pregnant from him. He found out she was pregnant. Wasn't too happy about it, but blah, blah. He ended up then after a couple of weeks telling her basically that he was actually seeing another girl and that she was pregnant as well. So he finished with my sister. She went, had my nephew.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically just, that was it. He never came to her, asked her did she want money, never came to her, whatever. He's with this other girl now.
Did she ever go and ask him for money?
Oh, absolutely, everything, yeah. And he basically just said, he basically tried to deny that it was his child after a while, because he was with this new girl, you see, and he basically tried to deny that it was his child. And so she just basically turned around and said, right, F you, whatever, good luck, you'll never see him. And he's with that girl now, and he's 3 kids with her. They're all looked after. Actually, it's funny because my nephew was in the same class growing up in school, and they graduated this year, or whatever it was, in school with his sister.
So, what is your opinion on if not jailing people, at least having money deducted out of their wages?
Absolutely, yeah. Something like that should be, because at the end of the day, it's like what you're saying. Like, you lay down with sleep with someone, like, it's your responsibility as well, like. So, like, you have to pay for it, like, you know what I mean? I'm separated now as well, and I've a son, and like the other chap said at the start, I religiously every week pay maintenance. I went to court and all about for about maintenance. I went about access and all that sort of stuff, and I got all that done. Mm-hmm. So every week I pay my maintenance, and it's your duty. It's what you have to do.
And this is the bit that I always, I mean, when I hear the expression deadbeat dads, that is a very accurate way to describe some guys who, think they can father a child and just walk away. And the reality of it is that it's about time the law really came down like a ton of bricks on these guys, and that an agency be set up where, if a woman was in an abusive relationship and she doesn't want to be chasing him for money, this agency should do it for her. And
it's wrong, because she worked very hard all her life. She worked part-time, she tried to get extra hours, she's done everything, she put him through school, and now he's in college, like, he's in, I think it's DIT in college there, like, he got accepted in, and he's in college, like, so she worked very, very hard all her life to make sure he had the best of everything. Now, obviously, my parents helped, and, we'd all help out with babysitting, things like that over the years, whatever, but, like, she basically done everything for him all her life, you know what I mean? Everything, Christmas, birthdays, everything, and nothing. He never sent a birthday card. He never sent a Christmas card. He's actually, I've witnessed myself on numerous occasions, even up to about 3 months ago, walked by myself and my nephew on the street.
Really?
And just basically put his head down, didn't even say hello or nothing.
I have to be honest, I absolutely despise men like that. I think they're the lowest of the low. How you can just deny a child, it has always bothered me. Stay there for a second, Patrick. Orla, you're on 98FM. How are you, Orla?
How you doing, Adrian? How are you?
Orla, again, no names, please. Tell me about your ex.
Well, I was with him for 13 years. Mm-hmm. We have two children. It was an abusive relationship, so I eventually got the courage and strength to get away from him.
Good for you.
We broke up, that's 10 years ago now since we broke up, and not 1 cent has he ever paid maintenance.
And this was
when I ask for it, he laughs at me.
He laughs at you?
He laughs at me, and like a real sniggery laugh, saying, well, I don't live in the Republic of Ireland, I don't have to pay it. And that's what I get. So I've stopped asking after, I suppose, it took me about 5 or 6 years to cop on that he was never going to pay.
Now, if he's not in the country, it kind of makes things a little bit more difficult to get money out of him, I suppose. But as far as what do you think of this proposal to deduct social welfare money or deduct it out of wages or even jail somebody who just won't pay?
Definitely should go ahead, because I've been to court trying to get maintenance, and that didn't help me either. He turns up with paperwork saying he got social welfare, but he's also working, getting cash in hand, and he breeds and sells dogs. So he's got plenty of money, but just won't pay it. So, if there was somebody there or an agency there that could, say, monitor him and then chase after him for the money, because they'd know that he is getting money.
Now, I don't know how you'd be fixed. I don't know how this agency would even work where it comes to somebody who's not actually living in the state. I would imagine that'll be fairly difficult, I should imagine.
It is, yeah. It is. It's very difficult. I was told then to get maintenance off, might have to go cross-border, hire a solicitor there, and take him to court up there.
Yeah,
but that's going to cost me a fortune if I don't have.
Yeah. Okay, but the principle of fining fathers or taking it out of their wages or locking them up if they just refuse to pay, you think it's about time something like this happened? Definitely,
yeah, because a woman on her own or a man on his own, because it works both ways, it's just so hard to, you're going to court, you're trying to fight your case, and some judges listen, some don't. And so you need help. We do. We need help to get, to have our backs in something like this. We need somebody to say, well, hang on, we're going to help you. We have people helping people out who are in debt, insolvency agencies and stuff like that. We need someone to help us chase these guys. And now, in my case, it is difficult.
Because he's out of the country, yes.
Yeah, it is difficult that way. But there are thousands of other parents there, lone parents, that need help.
Actually, we just heard a story there a second ago. The father lives obviously just down the road, and he just ducks his head when he sees his child.
And that's just disgusting.
It is disgusting, I agree with you.
Disgusting,
it's
yeah.
absolutely apparent.
Disgusting, yeah.
Okay, stay there for a moment. 6797 981 is our telephone number. I'd love to hear from you. You can text or WhatsApp us on 0877 98 98 98. Do you agree with the notion of jailing people if they just don't pay maintenance? And by the way, and I did mention this earlier on, and I will mention it again, it is not just fathers, because it does happen the opposite way around. This message says, it's not only men that don't pay. I paid maintenance for years, and when my daughter came to live with me, I never received a single cent. Is that from a man or a woman? Oh, sorry, it's from a man. But when the child moved in with him, she didn't give him any money. Where am I going now? I'm going to Richard. You're on 98 FM. How are you, Richard?
How's it going? Good morning.
Good morning, Richard. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's just a lot. It's all like badgering men and not paying and this and that. I'm living on my own with my daughter now since July.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in a B&B for 6 months, and I got a place just before Christmas. Even when it's arranged for the child to see the mother, I do have to give the mother money to bring the child off so she can buy the child something. As far as maintenance is concerned, she not a dime have I received from her.
Sorry, why do you have to pay the mother to take the child away for a few hours?
It's not paying the mother, it's giving her money that she can give to the child. Otherwise, she's just going to walk off, and the child, she can't get by the child, nothing or anything. Like, she's a rampant alcoholic. Everything she has is spent on alcohol. Like, if I went through the social welfare, for them to deduct the maintenance out of our money, it doesn't really work out, because what I'd get from her, they'd deduct from me. So I don't know. It's just, as far as like maintenance, I know a lot of blokes who just walk away and wash their hands and they won't pay, but I don't know what to do, whether it just goes to court.
But does this woman have any money? Listen to what you're saying.
She's on social welfare, the same as myself,
Okay, so you would like to see a situation where, and this is what is being proposed, that if she's not handing over any money, before she even gets to go and buy a drink, it gets taken out of her social welfare.
Yeah, well, they do that, the social welfare. I don't know how to go about it. I'll ask when I'm in. But even if, say, they deducted €30 from her for maintenance, I think they'd probably take 20, 25 euro back from me, so it end up at 5 or extra, you know. It's probably not even worth chasing.
No,
but I don't even know if I could do that till I apply to the court for full custody, because I just have custody. It's not through any court or that, and I just took my child, and with the backing of social services.
Right, okay.
You know?
You might be well advised to get that done legally, get that done through the courts, because, she could just turn around and take the child back again.
Well, she can't really. There was other kids involved as well that weren't mine, and she had to sign them over to the parents and that.
Right, well, as I said, I know it's not just men who aren't paying maintenance, who aren't paying their way, and it does happen the other way around. But sadly, the majority of these cases are men not paying their way. Lisa, you actually disagree with jailing fathers who don't pay.
Hi, Adrian.
Hi,
yeah,
Lisa.
I absolutely disagree with it. First of all, the obvious reason that there's not enough prison cells for real criminals in the country, so I just think it would be a complete waste of prison resources.
Okay, you just heard that message that I just read a second ago of a guy who was married, had kids, for whatever reason, I don't know the reason that they split up, or they're split up 9 years, and this guy's just disappeared off the face of the earth. He's still in the country, but doesn't pay any money for the kids that he had in his marriage.
And, Adrian, what you've got a lot of situations where you have so-called single parents, and they're being paid by the state for their children. I think that...
But isn't that a ridiculous situation? They shouldn't be paid for by the state. They should be paid for by the fathers or the mothers, depending on the situation.
The ridiculous situation is that children are, there's this game, like they're a pawn in a game, and I know several women who, mess about with access and visitation and base it all on money. If you don't give me the money, you're not seeing the child. That's wrong on every level.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree totally, and I do know of cases like that myself.
Yeah, it's horrible, and I think that this country, the courts are biased towards women enough, and I think this is, just another stick to beat men with. And of course,
is it though? When you say, Lisa, I have to go back to that story, that message I read out a moment ago, that a guy got married, had kids, it didn't work out for whatever reason, and he just buggers off and doesn't think he has any obligation to pay for the upkeep of his children. I'm sorry, Lisa, a guy like that has to be punished. A guy like that the state needs to find him and get money out of him.
But sure, in a lot of cases, the state doesn't need to go looking for him. He's there. I've been married twice. My first marriage, I have a 26-year-old. I was married at the time when he was born. We separated when he was a year and a half, and I got maintenance of £10 per week for 1 year. Then he stopped paying it, and that was it. Never got another cent off him. But surely you would agree with having an agency that would deduct the money directly out of his social welfare or out of his wages. No, because I think there's a great lesson in realising that a man of that of that calibre is not worth having in your child's life. I wouldn't want...
I might agree with you on that. However, I still think he should be made to pay his way. He created the child.
Of course, but we have to accept that some men are capable of walking, and I just don't think... I wouldn't put my ex in a prison.
I understand they're capable of walking, some, but they shouldn't be able to walk without contributing to the financial upkeep of their child, which, as I'm sure you're well aware, Lisa, they cost a lot of money.
They do.
Yeah.
I have 3 children, and I'm well aware of the hardship of raising kids, but I don't think prison is the place for a man.
Okay, well, stay there for 1 second, because Mandy, you think as a last option, jail is something we should consider.
Hello, Adrian. Hiya. I'm just listening to that lady there, and it's just... I think...
Sorry, can you turn down your radio, Mandy? You'll only get confused.
Oh, okay.
Thanks very much.
Hiya, Adrian.
That's better,
yeah. I just listen to that lady there. I think it's just disgraceful to come on the radio. This is it's a huge issue in Ireland, and it's an embarrassing issue in Ireland. And
it's not just Ireland that has problems like this. They have the same
no,
problem.
I know that, but we're a small country too. Do you know when you put the ratios of each country together, of the amount of people, and I think this is an epidemic that has been in Ireland for many, many years. And I myself, with my own situation, have a daughter, and I raise her by myself, and it's a moral issue for these children, do you know, that are going around saying that I don't have a father to begin with, causes mental issues for this child. That is catastrophic to the country too, because these children should know that these fathers, well, they're taking care of me financially, no matter what the situation is at home. You know, and I think this agency is a fantastic idea, and that CD that came on.
But you just heard Lisa, and I have to say, a lot of women I've heard saying things like that. I couldn't be arsed chasing them. I just couldn't be bothered. Sure.
Oh, well, I've gone through that, you know, and that's why an agency like this needs to be in place, because it's a hugely embarrassing for most women, and it's hugely hard to get maintenance.
No, I'm sorry, if I may cut in there, Mandy.
Yes, go on,
I'm not embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed. I don't know why anyone would
I'm
feel
talking
embarrassed.
about a certain amount of women. Do you know, you're making yourself out to be speaking for every woman in this country.
No, I'm not speaking for every woman. I'm speaking personally, but I'm telling you, I don't find embarrassed, and I take great umbrage to you saying that children. That children grow up with mental health issues because their father is absent or their mother is absent in their lives. Not every
it's hugely
child does.
possible.
It depends on... No,
but I was saying to
on
you,
your mentality with the child.
Oh, my child...
You know, how you interact. You know, there are far too many women... this is where mental health issues come up, where women absolutely... You know,
I'm talking about as a whole as a country. I'm not talking about myself here either.
As a whole,
and I don't think you should be.
No, as a whole in the country...
This radio station is hugely influential. Do you know, you have to be very careful what you say on the radio.
Yeah,
you know?
Which is why
you can
I'm
talk
taking
about
great
your
umbrage to
situation.
you.
That's fair enough.
No,
what I'm
saying is you're saying mental health issues are, you know, a consequence of this.
But
no, it's not. Mental health issues are a consequence when women,
no, you do, but you didn't let me finish. You put in on. Oh, of course they do.
Mandy, the point that Lisa was making is, you know, I'm sure.
But how would an agency? So why would an agency hurt her so much? You know, to think that there is an agency out there for women for help, is that not a great thing? Or in fact, for men, it does go both ways, and this country needs to see that also. But if these men that come on the radio, that foreign guy that came on the radio earlier on, you could see that he was trying to get out of everything that he said. First, she's a drunk. I know she's a good mother. Can you take your child? No.
Yeah, and he did. I agree with you on that.
This is the attitude.
But
Mandy, I'm going to pay for this. I'm going to pay for that.
Okay, Mandy. Lisa's point a minute ago is that while she might have liked to have gotten money out of the father of her child, she doesn't want to see him locked up in jail.
Well, that's great for her. Do you know, that's fantastic. You know, in her social circle, maybe she wouldn't like people to know that.
But Lisa, with that child you were talking about, did you claim social welfare, like lone parents' allowance?
I worked.
You worked, okay.
And it was hard. I'm not saying, Adrian, that, you know, life was easy and I could well afford it. It was very, very hard, really difficult. But you know what?
And it is very difficult.
No prison or no agency can, you know, install a moral compass into any man or woman. You know, it's impossible. There's someone either cares or they don't, you know. And I do think there's a great onus on whoever has the child not to make sure that they're not mentally affected and not, you know, speak down about their father or their mother, no matter what sort of a person they are.
Oh, completely agree, totally agree. But unfortunately, there is a percentage of people, even within great marriages with great kids, there are parents that, you know, one or the other that isn't a great parent. Do you know what I mean?
But Mandy, you believe that I know it's, you know, some people think it's a very draconian measure, but the idea of if somebody just doesn't pay any money towards the upkeep of their children, you believe that person should ultimately face jail?
Oh, of course, absolutely. And the thing is, Adrian, these men will not. They will pay up. Because
no, they won't, Mandy. Mandy,
of
would
course,
you put your daughter's
if they do not want to
prison?
go to prison, they're not going to do the crime, and it is a crime, and that's what it needs to be.
Sorry, Lisa.
Right across the board, and for you too.
Lisa, Lisa, you're saying he paid a few bob for the first year or two, whatever, and then never paid any more money. Doesn't it make sense that money should be taken directly out of his wages and given to the mother?
But you know, Adrian, that guy John from Sinn Féin has kind of spoke as if that was a new thing. That has been going on for years and years in this country.
It's not properly enforced. It's not properly enforced. It's not properly done.
Enforced,
we don't have a proper regime. It depends on the court.
I'd like to ask Mandy if she would put her daughter's father in jail, if that was possible. Would she do it?
My daughter has no idea. I've told my daughter and explained to my daughter. And she's mentally well capable for any situation, actually. And she's a great child, and I brought her up myself. And she's an A student, and all the rest. But would you put him in prison? Is the question, Mandy? But you see, that would be put to him as an adult. So he takes the choice whether he wants to go there or not. Do you know what I mean?
No, but would you?
Because this all, Lisa, this all comes down to responsibility, and you should not be able to walk away from your responsibilities as a parent.
No, you shouldn't, Adrian. But I personally wouldn't want to sit and explain to my child that I have contributed to your daddy being in prison.
No, it's not you contributing. It's the state.
It is, because without your evidence, he's not going to prison.
No. You're making it out to be your issue, you see.
Excuse me. Without your contribution in the court, without your verbalising that he didn't help, that's your contribution. And on the result of that.
For a child.
Yeah, it's that the daddy is going to prison. Why would any parent want to do that?
Okay, stay there for 1 second. We bring in one last call. Jamie, you're on 98FM. How are you, Jamie?
How you doing, Adrian?
Now, Jamie, you're also a single father.
I am. I have my son since he's 3.
Okay.
He's 7. What I wanted to say was my son's mother never paid a cent of maintenance, all right? And I had my son for 2 years, and she was getting paid for him like children's allowance.
Right.
She never gave me a cent. I do all the school, the books, the clothes, everything, right? I don't agree with putting him in prison but I also believe there has to be some consequence of not responding to the debt collection agency. Do you know what I mean? You have to have some, otherwise people just ignore the debt collecting agency. You know, if you were to put them on.
But isn't the simple solution to this to directly deduct the money out of somebody's wages?
Absolutely. That's the best way to do it. And then that solves all that. Now, that lady first came on and said, this has been used as a stick to beat men with. I don't think it's, do you know what I mean? I don't think it's that.
But obviously, you don't believe in the idea of somebody being locked up for not paying, do you?
No.
And in fact, to be honest with you, I hadn't even thought of it in this way until Lisa said it. Without her evidence, he's not going to be put in prison, and that could be used really as a vindictive way to get somebody locked up.
Of course. You know, look, and also, right, you put someone in prison, it costs the state $1,000 a week to look after a prisoner. So, I mean, you're defeating the purpose as well. I mean, people are getting paid off the state or whatever. Now, I've always worked, but if people are claiming money off the state and then, do you know what I mean, and then you're going to put them in prison, the state has to pay even more then.
Okay, but the idea of deducting it out of somebody's wages, you totally agree with.
Great idea.
All right. Okay, Jamie, thank you very much indeed for your call. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Mandy, Porrick. And if you are a father, or a mother for that matter, who pays nothing toward the upkeep of your child, shame on you.
The voice of the city.
98FM's Dublin Talks.
With Adrian Kennedy.
We're live every morning from 10 on 98FM.